say revenge is a dish best served cold, right? But what if it's your grandma doing the serving? Your seemingly sweet, maybe frail grandma.
Hey, yeah, that definitely adds a twist.
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into a film called The G. It promised this really unusual spin on the classic revenge story. And we're going to be sifting through a critical review to figure out why sometimes a really powerful idea, just doesn't quite hit the mark in the end.
Mm-hmm.
All our insights today are coming from The G Review by Mary Munoz over on Moviescramble. And our mission here isn't just about recapping the film. We want to understand what this review tells us about actually making a story work.
Right. Storytelling execution. How does a premise that sounds so good maybe fall short?
Yeah, what does it tell us about building tension, about characters?
Exactly. We're digging for those nuggets about filmmaking itself. This review is, well, it's a pretty interesting case study in potential and maybe missed potential.
Quick. So let's get into it. The core premise of The G. It's grim, really heart-wrenching stuff. Basically, elderly people are getting scammed. Big time. Out of their homes, their life savings.
It's awful. And how they do it. Bribing doctors.
Yeah, bribing doctors to say they're unfit. Then they're shoved into these, the review calls them stark-looking care facilities.
And that's where the gangsters come in.
Right, robbing them blind, supposedly to pay for care. It's a really dark setup.
Very dark.
And we see this through Anne Hunter, who's played by Dale Dickey. She's fantastic. She and her sick husband are just suddenly thrown into one of these places.
Held like prisoners, the review says.
Yeah, can't even leave their new apartment for a whole month. You feel that claustrophobia instantly.
And what really grabs you, or what the review points out, is how fast the stakes get high.
Yeah.
Like within the first half hour, Anne sees her husband. Well, he gets viciously assaulted.
Just for not admitting they have money. It's brutal.
It is. And the review says this setup really draws you into what feels like a heartbreaking situation.
Yeah.
It makes you ask all those questions, Is this legal? How is nobody noticing? Who's going to fight for these poor people?
That emotional core is there right from the start. Super powerful.
Definitely sets a strong foundation.
Okay, but here's where things get interesting, despite the film's later issues. Dale Dickey, her performance as Anne Hunter. The review just raves about her.
Mm-hmm. Solid as ever.
Yeah, so she basically carries the film, finds that balance, the right amount of ruthlessness and grief.
And that's a key point, isn't it? How much a really strong central performance can do, even if other parts of the film are shaky. The review mentions Anne is well fleshed out. She has this interesting backstory.
Right, like she's not just picking up a weapon out of nowhere.
Exactly. There's that quote the review highlights. My mother used to say, if you let your anger out, you live longer. She lived to be 102.
Huh. That tells you a lot about her, doesn't it?
It really does. Sums up her character, her background. But it does raise that question. Can one actor, even a great one, really compensate for a plot that doesn't hold together?
It's a tough ask.
A very tough ask.
So, okay, besides Dale Dickey, the film also gets props for how it looks. The review says The G is very well shot.
Yeah, the atmosphere seems to be a real strength. They call it winter noir.
Winter noir. I like that.
It paints a picture, right? Inside, everything's shadowy and claustrophobic. Outside, it's all stark and snow bright.
Creates a mood.
Definitely. And the review says this visual style really helps establish the threat. Makes it feel real for all the elderly residents. It gives these really vivid examples, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like one resident lies bruised and teary-eyed on a gurney, reaching out to Anne for help.
Wow.
Or another man walks with his T-shirt pulled over his face, his scrawny legs trembling in nothing but an adult nappy.
Jeez. That's effective visual storytelling.
Right. It shows how important that mood and visual execution can be, It draws you in, even if maybe the story starts to wobble later.
Okay, so great premise, fantastic lead, strong visuals. It sounds pretty good so far.
It does.
But, and it's a big but, apparently. This is where the review takes a turn. The reviewer just lays it out there. That's about as interesting as The G gets. Ouch.
Yeah.
Disappointingly, the plot and the dialogue really unravel and don't seem to get back on track quite ever.
So that's pretty definitive. The review points to a few key problems here. Like Anne's granddaughter, Emma. She has this subplot trying to get justice.
Oh, wow.
But the review calls it not credible. It says Emma just doesn't have the menace or street smarts that her grandma does.
So feels mismatched with the tone, maybe.
It seems like it. Doesn't quite fit the gritty world they've set up.
And then, okay, this sounds really weird. Emma has a date.
Oh, yeah. The rather weird date with a man who decides to doggy paddle naked in order to seduce her.
Wait, what? Naked doggy paddle?
That's what the review says. Calls it an odd attempt at comedy amid a very dark premise.
Okay, that sounds incredibly jarring. Like total tonal whiplash.
Exactly. You're in this dark, tense situation,
Yeah.
and then that. It pulls you right out.
Yeah, big time.
And it's not just that subplot. The acting, apparently, beyond Dale Dickey, it's an issue.
Oh, really?
Characterized as poor overall. Romaine Dennis, who plays Emma, the review says she sounds whiny a lot of the time, or like she's unsure as to how to deliver her next line.
That doesn't sound good.
No. And Anne's stepson-in-law, his performance apparently really pulls you out of the drama with his odd intonation and outbursts.
So multiple actors taking you out of the story.
Seems so. Even the main bad guy, Rivera, played by Bruce Ramsey, he apparently feels more like a background henchman.
Not a truly imposing villain.
Right. Not like, a Gus Fring or an Omar Navarro, these really complex, terrifying antagonists we've seen elsewhere.
Okay, so shaky subplots, uneven acting. What else?
We've got holes. The review mentions rather gaping plot holes.
Gaping ones? After such a tight setup, like what?
Well, think about this. Anne and her husband, the gangsters, got $0 from them, right? Because the husband died before they could give anything up.
Okay.
Yet they suddenly allow her out of her apartment, even though they know her family background, these Texas Hellraisers.
Oh, yeah, why would they let her out? If she's potentially dangerous and hasn't paid up.
Exactly. It breaks the firm's own internal logic. Doesn't make sense with the threat level they established.
That kind of thing can be really frustrating as a viewer.
Totally. And then there's the dialogue sometimes, criticized as a little too on the nose.
Hitting you over the head with the point.
Yeah. The example given is a lawyer literally chortling politicians, lawyers, gangsters. Some would say they're on in the same.
Oof. Yeah, that's not subtle.
Not subtle at all. Sacrifices realism for, I guess, trying to make a statement.
Okay, so after digging through all this in the review, the good premise, the great Dale Dickey, the visuals, but then the unraveling plot, the acting, the holes, what's the final verdict on the G?
Well, the reviewer basically concludes that it's probably not enough.
All the good stuff isn't enough to save it.
Seems that way. The review suggests the runtime could do with a 20-minute chop.
Ah, pacing issues too.
Yeah. And that unless you're just a massive Dale Dickey fan, there isn't really enough there to keep you hooked.
Yeah.
Especially, it says, as it all begins to unravel in the third act.
So the ending doesn't stick the landing either.
Apparently not. The core message from the review is pretty clear.
Yeah.
There's a good premise here, but the execution just doesn't live up to it.
A classic problem. Great idea, shaky delivery.
Exactly. A real shame when you hear about that initial setup in the lead performance.
So this whole deep dive into the G review, it really shines a light on that common challenge, doesn't it? That gap between a fantastic concept and, well, flawed execution.
Definitely.
We saw how you can have a powerful start, an amazing actor, great visuals, but inconsistent writing, characters that don't quite work, weird tonal shifts, they can just derail the whole thing.
It really makes you think. And it leaves us with a question, maybe for you listening. When you're watching something or reading whatever it is, what's the most crucial thing for you? What keeps you engaged?
Is it that initial premise? Does that carry you through?
Or is it the performances, the visuals? Or do you need that plot to be absolutely rock solid, totally coherent?
Yeah, what element failing is the biggest deal breaker for you?
And maybe, what do you think is the hardest part of actually bringing a complex story like this to life without it just falling apart?
Something to chew on. We hope this deep dive gave you some interesting things to think about anyway, both about this specific film maybe and just the art of telling a story well.
And the value of sharp critical eye, too.